And how are we still like that today? You know, it's been years and years and years, and we're still questioning about, you know, the existence of God and different things around us. This is what, you know, we do on a daily basis. You know, if you speak of your belief or what you feel or how you are, you know, when I was growing up, it was different. You couldn't really, if you said that, you were kind of ashamed or afraid to. Now it's okay. It's everyone's like, oh, that's nice. You know, that's kind of nice. It's nice. You go to church, oh, nice. Before it wasn't like before it might have been a thing where you were kind of you know, afraid that someone's going to look bad at, you know, down upon you or something. Now it's just, you know, you can do whatever you want to do. You know, you go to do whatever it is. That's okay. That's nice. So, you know, you know, name any worldly thing. That's fine. That's good. So, how are we being lights in the world, and what are we doing with our bodies to bring glory to God? The next, it's just one of the other notes that I think goes along with it. It's just having the whole armor of God with us. Next year, will be Ephesians 6:10 through 18.
Find to be strong in the Lord and the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over the present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand firm. Stand therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and as shoes for your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel of peace. In all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying at all times in the Spirit with all prayer and supplication. To that end, keep alert with all perseverance, making supplication for all the saints.
So it's a pretty wonderful thing that we can do. Look at this. I know that they probably do a whole bunch of classes just on the armor of God. But what does that bring to mind? Does anybody have any thoughts on that aspect? Brother Ben, give it a mic.
The mic's not gonna work today.
Okay.
So the regular YouTube is not being streamed to the mics, it's going through the computer.
Okay. Hello out there.
Do you want to make that announcement so they know in case they're trying to hear what's going on?
Oh, yeah. So, just got word that the microphones might be a little difficult. It's not working. There's some technical difficulty with the Zoom YouTube link, or what was happening with it being connected. So Todd is setting it up front here for the camera on the laptop. So it's a little bit different. Apologize for the changeover. Hopefully you can hear a little bit better. The microphones aren't going to be able to pick it up. So maybe I'll try to repeat some things that people say, and if you can't hear it, that'll help out. Maybe use the mic anyway, just maybe it might help. Just the interior volume, like.
Yep, so, CYC was canceled this past Friday because of the weather, not too bad, but it was still icy out over here. We were given the topic of when the children of Israel and Uzzah took the Ark of the Covenant and dropped it and tried to catch it, and he died. And if you do some study, Rachel and I did a little study around it, like how are we going to draw a lesson for little kids about this topic? But it was great. great because it challenged us to have an understanding of, what's the point of this? And to tie it back to here, that there was a way that God prescribed in Exodus on how to carry the ark, right? It wasn't our own interpretation and put it on a cart and make it easy. It was to be handled, right? And they did do it that way. So there is a prescribed way that God, for our own benefit, and he's teaching us a lesson just as much as he has given us the armor, right, to walk, right? It's not our own armor. We didn't craft it. It was crafted by God for us to wear. And I think there is a way to follow the Lord, and sometimes when we do it our own way, that's probably one we fall into the snares of the wide way. But when we follow the narrow way, when we follow the way that God prescribes and the way that even Jesus has taught through the gospel, that's when we could truly say that we're following in righteousness and holiness to be more like him than his Father. So to me, there is a way, and the armor of God is another example of the means that God has given us to follow him and his Son.
That's very good, yeah. That's true, when on face value, looking at that story, you're like, why did this guy get killed for putting his hand on the ark? That seems like a crazy Ark of the Covenant. I'm just gonna try to save it, but then he's doing something good. Well, they were not doing it right in the first place. Is the reasoning behind that, and we do fall into that. What are we doing with that? There's always ways that you see in different things in history, trying to cut corners, or I'm gonna do it this way, or I think that I think I was just talking about this recently, same scenario with just different people's belief systems or what they're doing, and just cutting it a little bit thinner every time. Like, well, if I do this, I'm still following what I'm supposed to be doing, but making your own rules against what because it is hard. So how do we make it easier? Well, let's make it a little bit easier. Let's make Sunday. We'll make it at like 1 in the afternoon because it's too hard to get up in the morning. Whatever. You can do different things and try to slice it, make it a little bit easier instead of just following along, whatever it is. I mean, that's not really a great example, but thinking that. Leah?
I was just thinking of Adam and Eve. It doesn't really work. Adam and Eve eating the fruit of the tree. So what was the big deal? The big deal is that God says, I don't want you to eat that tree.
Disobedience, yeah.
So God said to Uzzah, you're not supposed to do this. Certain people are only allowed to carry this, and it doesn't go on a car. And so he died. I mean,
Yes.
It's not our judgment, it's God's judgment.
Right.
He lays the foundation of what we're supposed to do. We don't make that decision.
Right. That was a good example. With Adam and Eve, like you said. You can eat from everything here. You get anything you want. You can have it and eat it. But that's the one that don't eat it. So what do? It's like when I do a job at someone's house and I'm working on it and I just finished it. Whatever you do, just don't touch it until it's done. Like it's got to dry. Don't touch it. Okay. I might say it 4 times. As soon as the person goes up to it, they put their hand on it. Don't touch it. That was the whole point. I said that the whole thing. It can't get the oils from your fingers on this, so I don't want you to touch it just yet. Right on it. It's like, don't say it because they're going to touch it. Literally, it is so crazy, like our nature to do the thing that we're not supposed to do, or whatever it is. You have all this fruit to eat, and anything you want. It's the only one in this entire garden of goodness. No, like that's the one I want. I want that one. So I lost the mic. How about now?
No.
Oh.
Maybe the battery.
Yep. See if that's working. Okay. Yeah, so that's interesting, point of how we easily fall off from what we should be doing. Any other examples? Anyone else was bringing something up? So, so how else can we look at this body? We're speaking about this beginning about the body of our meeting, and how does this fit in to the body, the temple body of our meeting? Let's do a reading in 1 Corinthians 3, 9 through 16. next.
This is what I mean, that old agreement judged people guilty of sin, but it had glory. So surely the new agreement that makes people right with God has much greater glory. That old agreement had glory, but it really loses its glory when it's compared to the much greater glory of the new agreement. If the agreement that was brought to an end came with glory, then the agreement that never ends has much greater glory. We are so sure of this hope that we can speak very openly. We are not like Moses, who put a covering over his face. He covered his face so that the people of Israel would not see it. The glory was disappearing, and Moses did not want to see it end.
I don't know if that's the reading time. 1 Corinthians 3,
Oh, first,
9 through 16. My mic went out.
sorry. And I, brethren, oh no, sorry. For we are God's fellow workers. You are God's field, you are God's building. According to the grace of God, which is given to me, as a wise master builder, I've laid the foundation and another builds on it. But let each one take heed how he builds on it. For no other foundation can anyone lay than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. Now if anyone builds on this foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare it, because it will be revealed by fire. And the fire will test each one's work of what sort it is. If anyone's work which he has built on it endures, he will receive reward.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
can you just let the people know on YouTube that we switched back to the other setup now?
Okay.
And that they should check their email for the new YouTube link,
Okay.
just let them know.
Let me, these new batteries just went down, both of them. So both sets of batteries died.
You want me to do it?
Okay. Is that working? You guys hear me today? So, Todd has got the link working again, so there's a new email coming back out.
Tell them to check their email.
Check your email, and then it's going to be updated and set up so you can join in on the new link.